your first kiss, the first day back at your job, your first time hooking up with someone. Fear, failure, and a complete disaster. That's what life is like the first time. The first time you do something is such a squeezing feeling on your soul that it will prohibit you from showing up to your destiny in life. This is my first ever members only chat. And there was anxiety before I went live. There was anxiety in my life before I did my first public speaking. There was anxiety in my life before I went to my first job selling CDs in a mall. Everything you do for the first time will have fear because there's an expectation for you to perform. You're worried about how other people are looking at you. Are you going to disappoint them? Tom, great to see you. One of my 11 members, Tom. You're one of the first 11 members that I had this week. For those who don't know, you become a member by clicking that join button, and you'll have unlimited access to all my live chats. We're going to do them every Sunday at minimum for my members. And we're going to do them like we do every live chat. We're going to talk about subject. We'll talk about life and see how you guys are doing. How's everything going, Tom, in California? But what I want to share with you to empower you on tonight's topic is that you'll never get rid of the fear and you'll never be confident enough to overcome the anxiety of just showing up. But you show up anyway, even with the anxiety, and that's kind of how you overcome over time. You don't get paid your first day on the job, you get paid the 14th. Through consistency over time, you build up your confidence, you build up your equity. Your first members only chat, there's not balloons coming from the ceiling. Jennifer Lopez is not doing a special dance. You know what I mean? I'm not, but I show up. Okay, Vanessa showed up. She is one of my first of the 11 members on my channel. She goes, hey, rainy day in Tampa. Well, it's a rainy day in Tampa. And Tom said it's hot in California. He's in North California. I am in New Jersey. It was 60 degrees, sunny, not hot, not cold. It was mild. It's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. Spend time with my 73-year-old mother. It was her first time ever this week getting a smartphone. And that encompasses a lot of what I'm talking about tonight. She feared getting that smartphone to the point where she held on to an old, unfunctional phone for 5 years longer than she should have. The first time doing something is so scary that you'll hold off from doing the next thing in your life, and you'll make your life harder than it needs to be. Hold on, we got Jessie O. She made history. Jessie O, you made first history. She was my first ever YouTube member last week. I mean, you'll go down in YouTube history, Jessie O. She goes, hey, Sam, I hope you're having a good day, even though the weather is crappy. It is. Yesterday was probably the last cold day in New Jersey. And then now we're in the 60s. And so I was thinking about it today, though. I'm not, even with the 60-degree weather and sunny, I'm not happy in New Jersey. I'm happy to be with my mother on Mother's Day. I don't know how many more Mother's Day my mom will have. So I tried to remember that today because I felt like a little bit resentment, stress in my own soul. And I said, Sam, just be patient and be thankful that, your mom's still healthy and that you're okay. And I was. But look, there's going to be a home base in Florida one day. It just is. And I want to get my weight set popping there. I don't know if I'm going to go back to the gym, man. Planet Fitness now, they're talking about not opening things up till at least June for most states. Well, Planet Fitness, at least the popular states that I go to. I know like Tulsa and other like states in the middle of the country, like they're opening some things up, but the gyms are not opening up till phase 2. But, a lot of times, people going to the gym, they're out of shape, they feel self-confident, or they feel a lack of self-confidence. So just going back to the gym, getting their rhythm holds them back, from living their best life. They feel embarrassed. Now, do I feel embarrassed about going to the gym? No, not anymore. Even when I was obese, I took my big ass in there with neon socks, and I just went in there. I did what I did. But I think now, as I get older, I do want to look at going back a little bit more into the private and less into the public. I saw like Nomadic Fanatic did a video today. I was going to do a video response. He did a video yesterday. He bought a home base. I did a video response. I did it. I uploaded it, but I didn't share it because I was like, I don't want to be judgmental. But this was a famous YouTuber who basically has been living full-time in his RV for 10 years. And recently, he bought his first house. And I could tell he was scared, embarrassed, etc. And that's why I held back. It took everything in my soul to hold back and not make a funny video about it. But the only thing that really kind of held me back was I said, Sam, remember the first time that you bought a house and people, even if no matter what they thought, they celebrated it. They give you home like a housewarming gift, and they support you. And, same thing with a YouTube membership or anything you do in life. There's sometimes that people don't know if they agree with what you do. And so you give people a little bit of grace, but he deserves, I don't want to say deserve, no one deserves. He should have the opportunity to have his first home. I've had a home. Okay. I almost threw up when he said he had to register his property taxes. He had to get home insurance. He had to get utility bills. The list went on and on. As soon as you buy a house, especially for the first time, you have to buy the furniture. You have to buy the connection for like the washer and the dryer. You have to buy all these things for the first time, tools. And it makes your first time suck. Because you realize that you can never be prepared for the first time. And you're going to have to go through some painful growing pains. Trial by fire. Tom, he looked like I did when I moved into that apartment last summer. I remember that for 3 months. Yeah, Tom lives full time in his cargo van in North California. He's a mechanic, so he has the skill set to be able to work from anywhere with that skill. Like all of us, I'm sure we get used to an area, and we get our habits, our routines. We're creatures of habits, and we like certain areas more than others. But he always knows he has the flexibility to live anywhere. But there is a different trigger in your mind when you're living in a cargo van, in a campground or an RV lot, and versus compared to when you live in a house or an apartment. There is something to be said that it feels like a sheetrock prison, especially if you're living under landlord rules or if, you have an HOA or neighbors. There's an entrapment that you do feel when you're living a conforming life in a house, an apartment, which I've done, Tom has done. And you could feel like immediately you made the wrong decision. Like when I had finally paid off one of my first cars, I had a Jeep Compass. I decided to lease a Range Rover to impress a girl. I immediately knew I made the wrong decision. But in life, we have to go through, the trials and tribulations, but we try to learn and remember the pain. Like what's been holding me back from buying a home base is because I remember the pain of living above my means and how hard it is to get out of the entanglements of that long-term commitment. There is value there. There's value in a home base, especially when you find an area you like. There's value, I guess you could say, in going steady with someone if you did want a relationship. A lot of times, like when I dated people that were serial daters, they like to date a lot of people, like to constantly go on dates. They like the high of the first time. You know what I mean? Like when you first meet someone and you're courting them, the honeymoon phase, there's a high there. But eventually, after a little bit, the high goes off and it's not the first time anymore. It's just the everyday, day in, day out. And I think about that, like I know I'll feel that again if I settle and I put roots down somewhere. So I have to work through that in my mind so that I manage my expectations. One thing you always need to do when doing something for the first time is try to manage your expectations. Not easy because we're an emotional being. Norma, another one of my members. Norma, you made it. Hey, Sam. Yeah, I caught you. It's the first ever live chat. Some people may like it, some people may hate it, but I showed up, and you showed up. I got 11 members, and Norma's in the building. Norma, are you still in Maryland, or did you go back to Georgia? I heard that some of Georgia, I don't know, I didn't hear any horror stories about Georgia. I know they were one of the first states to open up in America. I've been looking on the news and things to see if there's any like major disasters in these states that are opening up earlier than others. I haven't seen any major red flags. So, I mean, I guess that's a good thing. But like, again, I know for Southeast Florida, they don't plan to open up until next May 18th. May 18th is when they're going to do phase 1. That does not include gyms. So gyms won't be open on May 18th, just like restaurants at like a low capacity, 25% capacity or something like that. So, you know, the first time reopening all these different states, they're tentative because they don't know what to expect. That there's a fear, there's an apprehension. And that ties into what I'm saying tonight, beyond the fun that we're going to have. Jeff, we got a new member. We're up to 12 members. Jeff, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the membership, damn it. I hope that you have a great ride here with us, man. Love to hear where you're from, what your journey is in life. If you want to share, welcome, man. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that, brother. God bless you, Jeff. Tom gave you some love. But look, the anxiety of doing things, whether you're a state reopening because of the coronavirus, whether you're someone going back to your job, going back to work on a Monday, there's fear. You know, going back for the first time after a weekend off. And so part of this in life, what we face, the emotions, the insecurities, you know what I mean? Like, you know, getting naked in front of someone for the first time, or, you know, sharing something, sharing your video for the first time, or sharing a piece of artwork, or sharing your thoughts with someone. There's a lot of rejection in life. There's a lot of rejection in life. And that's what holds people back from their best life, because there's a certain percentage that are going to reject you, just like you have rejected other people. There's a certain part of our brain that is self-critical, that we analyze who we are and if we presented ourselves in the perfect way. You know, before a person will upload a picture to social media, they look at it like from every angle. There's a filter. And, you know, social media, while it's very good, we're on the social media now. I shut down all my social media other than YouTube. Because to me, YouTube is the only thing I get value out of, and it's still healthy. But a lot of people say that social media is a psychological experiment with humans. You know, one is how we look at ourselves and what we're willing to post. You know, one thing that I've kind of like done to get over some fears, a lot of times I'll share my insecurities and I'll put myself out there, but some things you should keep private. Well, the first time that you allow people to judge you and you share a photo, you share your words, you go on a job interview, you share your credentials, there's going to be rejection. It's not going to, you're not going to get every job. Every person is not going to like you. Some people think your painting looks like crap. Some people think you sing like crap, look like crap. But what I remember in life as I go forward is just do things for the first time, and do things until the 14th day. Do things for 14 days. You know, the first time I showed up as an electrical, on a construction site as an apprentice electrician, I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know what a pipe bender was. You know, it was a bunch of rough people. I was very intimidating. Okay. But your best life is not going to get itself. The money's not going to get itself. You have to go after what you want. You know, same thing like if you approach someone you like, usually like your first approach is always a failure. Most things in life we do the first time is a complete failure. Your first brokerage account, failure. Failure and letting people down, not living up to an expectation, is all wrapped into first times. But I don't have a magic answer. I have the showing up through consistency. I have learned in my own life that you will suck the first time, but you will get better over time. And as best you can, learn to have fun with it. Learn to laugh at yourself, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's all temporary, guys, okay? And when you relieve some of that pressure, and you don't always have to feel, play free, live free. Don't play the game under the microscope of your insecurities or the pressure from people with their expectations. Have fun with life as best you can, because it's a Duke emoji out there a lot of times. And don't try to outdo yourself. Be yourself. Every time I get scared to do something new or to keep doing what I need to do, I remind myself, don't try to outdo yourself, be yourself. When you're in a job interview, the best advice I can give you is just be yourself. Be honest if you don't know the answer. That's the overall message. All right, I'm going to take a hydration break. It's going to be interesting. Let's see how we read the live comments. We'll see. Take a hydration break. Yeah, but I got my mom today for Mother's Day. What do you get a 73-year-old elderly mother for Mother's Day? Well, you don't get her perfume. You don't get her clothes. You get her chocolate and cheese. I got my mom a medium pizza, New Jersey pizza, half plain, half mushroom. And I got her a cannoli. Okay? So what I've learned in growing up in a household of women, flowers are okay for the first date, but not when you're with someone for a while, certainly not for your mother after time. Chocolate and cheese, and being there for them and not getting pissed with them, just being patient. Those are the best gifts you can give people. And that's the best gift you can give yourself. You know, there was a time today where my mom frustrated me a little bit with something she was doing, and I had to remember in my mind, I said, Sam, you have an elderly mother here. Just don't even say anything. Just smile and nod. When you're totally lost in life, smile and nod. And that's tough. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'm emotional, passionate. And then again, I'll be 40 this year. So I look back at different times where I got very upset with things. And I probably would have been better served by just smiling and nodding my head. Certain times. And that's self-control. There's a scripture that says self-control leads to godliness. Now, we all fail. We're never always in control, okay, because we're human, okay? But to have a goal will make you better, okay? And that's part of your best life. You won't be perfect, but you'll be better. And so that's what I thought about. Norma Show, Jeff Love, Jesse. It is very difficult to be consistent at anything. That's why I admire your ability to do it. Well, Jesse, I appreciate you. I mean, we're connected where we both had traded stocks. I don't know, you may still be doing it on the side. And that's what I really tried to figure out, a consistent way to do day trading and at least make $50 or $100 a day. And there'd be times where I'd go on a long winning streak with trading stocks, and I would make that consistent quota. And then I would get cocky, arrogant, or just figured I knew it, even if I wasn't arrogant. And sure enough, maybe 6 months or 4 months later, I'll just have one bad day or one bad couple of days, and all of a sudden I'm back into the negative. And it's very frustrating with that because you feel like I figured it out. But I don't know what it is. I mean, I didn't figure it out. I don't know if it was something in my psyche that made it fail, because I kind of kept the same system, an algorithm, or just the way the markets are designed that eventually you just can't beat the house. The house always wins. Have I ever known a successful day trader of 7 years of consistently having positive returns? No. again, did I ever really meet someone living in my car before I was living in my car? No. I'm 1% of society living in my car. I'm probably 1% of society of someone who lost 200 pounds and kept it off. So I figured, well, I beat the odds in a lot of things. Maybe I could beat the odds trading stocks. But I never figured that out. I don't know if I would ever do it again. It'd be very small risk. I figured I'd give myself an opportunity to try it to see if I could do it. The first time you trade stocks, you may get lucky, just like the first time at a casino. But over time, you're definitely going to blow out, meaning you're going to go bankrupt in your first brokerage account. And then you have to decide how many times you want to re-up. But one thing I did learn through that is that I'll never tell someone else how to spend their money, right? Because I could be living in my car, trading stocks, losing money there, and then like make fun of Nomadic Fanatic for buying however much he spent in that house in Illinois and buying a big Class A where only one person. So, our own failures, they kind of give us gravity to our ego. If we're wise, you want to still have fun in life too. You want to say, look, this is a disaster. And look, again, when I saw like his video, I thought it was a disaster. But that's not me. I would never buy a house in Illinois. It'd have to be, that was 1,000 square foot. I need to be under 500 square feet. I wouldn't buy a Class A. But we're all different, and that's what, in life, as you mature, you kind of realize that. But it's a struggle, you know what I mean? Because, a little bit of it, we like a little bit of a circus. Let's continue. Norma, I believe this wholeheartedly, Sam. Keep trying. The progress will happen. I believe that too, and I appreciate that, Norma. It's a consistency over time, but it takes longer than we think a lot of times. And it's a grind, and even then there's ups and downs. But what you have to do, just like, you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to live up to others' expectations. You don't want to put others in a position where you expect something of them. What you always need to do in life, whether it's the first time or the 100th time, is just focusing on what your goals are, taking that one step at a time, building, staying positive, and just letting the chips fall where they may. But look, there's no one answer. I struggle right now. I'm trying to think of like a magical answer. I could say there's no magical answer. The magical answer is just keep showing up, adjust as you go. Like some things work and some things don't work. Like I'm going to probably change some things tomorrow. That's something I tried, but it didn't work. So you have to give yourself liberty to go on a certain path. And then if it doesn't work out, you have to give yourself flexibility in your mind to not pigeonhole yourself in a corner and say, you know what, this didn't work. I'm going to stop doing this and focus more energy on this. It's part of taking chances in life and adjusting, being flexible. Norma? I'm sure your mom loved it. She did, and I loved it too. The hardest part, like I pushed her a little bit. I said, Mom, let's go around the block and go for a walk. Because, my mom struggles now sitting down, just eating and not getting up. And she got swollen feet. She got diabetes. And I see her suffering when she walks. And one part that was tough emotionally that, obviously I don't want to show with her is that I know she's going to get to a point where she's going to suffer and die. And the hardest part about life is seeing someone you love get older, be in pain, and die. Now, I don't want to walk in and see my mom dead one day and she didn't wake up. I also don't want to walk in a hospital and see my mom suffer in a hospital. One of the realities that hit my life is when my dog got old and I had to watch her suffer for the last 6 months. That was a harsh reality of life, and that's one reason why, too, I don't think I would ever be in a serious relationship. I don't want to go through that. Even if you find someone you really like, then you got to go through all the ups and downs of just being in a relationship. And even if you get to older age, one of you are going to suffer before the other. And it's just destroy your soul. It's going to, like a piece of me died when my dog died. And another piece of me will die when my mom dies. And then I'm just going to live my life the rest of my life as untouched as possible. You guys on YouTube, especially my members, you'll probably be the closest ones to me. And it's not because like I'm scared of this or I'm scared to love. I've been in love and I've been in relationships. For me, it would just destroy more of my soul. And so I try to restore my soul from the pain that you go through in life and just keep it in a healthy place. That's a full-time job. That's all part of that self-care. But the first time you see someone you love die and suffer, it will destroy your soul. At least a certain part of your soul. At least for me, that's my experience. Let's continue to read. Norma says, yes, I'm still in Maryland. I haven't heard any horror stories yet either, but I'm still waiting. At least the virus is incubation period. Yeah, hopefully it all works out. And at least, there's a rhythm in society again. I see more people moving, but like today when I went to certain restaurants to pick up the pizza and stuff for my mom, I remember going to them on Mother's Days in the past, like years ago, and those restaurants were packed. So now, like, they're not even close to packed. And so I still think that we're in it for the long haul, a year or so of a different society. I think we're going to open up more. But I remember what a guy said on Joe Rogan's podcast, like in March when this was first happening. He goes, everyone's looking at the coronavirus like it's a hurricane. He goes, everyone's like stocking up items and think like the hurricane's going to come through town and then it's going to leave and you're going to reopen. But what they don't understand, it's a tsunami of time, meaning that it's going to be with us here till a vaccine or to a major, basically a vaccine 2 years from now. So he goes, yes, we'll learn to live with it. We'll learn to set up like social distancing and things, and we will open up things, but you're not going to have a packed concert with people not wearing masks, hugging each other, etc. anytime soon. And that's a harsh reality. And like, I thought of that today, and that's what I was thinking about, like getting a home base maybe. Even though, again, I almost threw up when I saw Nomadic Fanatic get a home base because I heard him kept saying that I got the property taxes in my name. I got the utility bills in my name. I was just like, oh. But I do vision myself with a travel trailer on an RV lot in the part of Florida I like, having a weight set there, limiting my driving, still having a small compact car to do DoorDash if I needed, and hopefully find something with low property taxes and not really a crushing HOA. And if my mom really gets immobile, take her down there if she's willing to. That's going to be a challenge, but I think she will if she gets to a point where she can't live on her own. So, because if my mom gets to a point where she can't live on her own, I would like to have an RV lot down there with a separate room for her where I could put her, live my life during the day, and obviously, look after her and stuff like that. But so, pray for me. I'm trying to make the right decision there. Jeff, man, welcome, brother, and thank you again for joining. Anyone interested in joining, hit that blue join button. You'll have unlimited access. This is my first ever members only chat. We're going to do it every Sunday. We'll start around 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do some too sporadically because I'm going to get better at this. This first one may suck, but it'll grow over time. And if you guys have any requests on certain times that you want me to do it or certain subjects, any of my members, leave a comment and I'll take it all under consideration and give us some thought and we'll go from there. Tom, pound emoji. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Norma, Jeff, whoop, whoop. Jesse, yo. It is very difficult to be consistent at everything, That's why I admire your ability to do it. Well, we're very similar. And that's like, look, my legacy is a big part of that. Like, I'm not giving any type of like grand performance. I have a certain ability to communicate and maybe entertain a little bit of humor, a little bit of this, that passion. But overall, like, I'm just like the sixth man off the bench that's consistent, has tenacity. And, and that's how I look. We all have different gifts, but sometimes if you're not that talented in something, you can still go far if you're consistent and you show up and you stay at it. Like a lot of jobs, people will quit. And if you keep showing up, you'll take their spot just for the fact that you're consistent. Like, Tom, I think they went through a lot of mechanics where he's at, but that guy shows up every day. That's why Tom, he can get a job anywhere because he has that mindset of tenacity. And so, that's what I want to share with you guys. Good to see you, Vanessa. Love to you. And that's what I want to share with you guys, like, on this journey as you look at your life. Like Vanessa gave a great testimony this week where she had quit her job and she shared, maybe it was a little bit of emotional, but she also shared through humility that she was able to make amends with her ex-boss, and now she's showing back up tomorrow for the first time back at her job. And the Lord will bless that, you know what I mean? And that shows a lot about her character, and that's going to give you the ability to do whatever you want in life, Vanessa. And now once you regain your job, now's the time to still do DoorDash on the side, to still keep your other options open. So if it doesn't work out, now you can transition down the road smoothly. But to me, I was very proud of that example that you set in your life and that you did to benefit yourself. So look, there's always part of life that we have to play a game, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't look at playing the game as like a bad thing. You know what I mean? So there's certain things in life we have to do for our own well-being, but we do them when we have to, and then over time we position ourselves to do more things that we want to do on our terms, and that's a good thing. Norma, I'm sure your mom loved it. She did love it. She had a couple pieces. I should have the cannoli tonight. I'll probably go see her one more time and see how she liked the cannoli. Vanessa, short video on my channel. I will check it out. With my car camping setup. Just finished it yesterday. Well, I'll check it out and subscribe. So Vanessa, if you're going to do car camping videos, always put like living in a car / female car setup. So I would definitely tell anyone that's a female living in their car, there's definitely a higher algorithm for females living in their car because there's not that many of them, and that could definitely help your channel grow. Put like living in a car, solo female car camping, because how you label your video, how you tag it over time will help you go into an algorithm of the search field. And over time you get better. You do better with the thumbnails. You'll build a base of followers. Okay. Like if you YouTube search inspirational nomad discouraged with YouTube, like the second week of me doing YouTube 3 years ago, I've had my YouTube channel for 3 years. The second week in having it in 2017, I was like, man, this sucks. I'm discouraged. No one's watching my videos and I want to give up. But I just kept showing up. So all I can tell you is your videos will get better. Your thumbnails will get better. My member only chaps will get better. There's fear doing things for the first time. Uploading your first video, there's fear. So look, even if you stumble, even if you stutter, even if you lose followers, even if you get thumbs down, that's okay. Keep showing up. Overcome the fear through action. Action overcomes fear. But when idleness increases the anxiety, then you get wrapped in your head. Then you think your girlfriend's cheating on you, your boyfriend's doing this, your boss is talking about you, and you go down this negative, self-fulfilling prophecy of just negative energy, negative thoughts, lack of self-confidence. So humility, keep it, but also keep a level of self-confidence that just be yourself. And if being yourself is not good enough for someone else, then let the chips fall where they may. Let the chips fall where they may if being yourself is not good enough for people. That's what I'll tell you. Just hope. Did you hear Dr. Fauci is in isolation due to the possible corona infection, or is that fake news? I don't know for sure. I did see a news article, that said that he was in self-isolation. I also saw that Ivanka Trump's assistant got the coronavirus and Mike Pence's secretary got the coronavirus. So it does look, again, like it's very contagious and it is spreading. And obviously, we'll have another major setback if one of our leaders get the coronavirus and or get really sick and possibly, God forbid, die from it. Because right now, people have kind of accepted where we're at and we're trying to reopen. But if we face another major setback with having a major person in society get sick or, God forbid, die from the coronavirus, you'll see another level of fear kind of sweep through society. So, but I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Jesse, trading is mostly emotional. Your experience is similar to mine and most people. Yeah, and then even when I thought it wasn't emotional, some of it is, I'm sure there are algorithms and there's bots. Like even AJ, he watches my channel. He lives in his car, even though he's renting a place right now in Miami, and he trades stocks. And he creates bots. He does algorithms where he tries to skim off the top. So even if you're trading and you're not that emotional, there's certain algorithms that are in the trading platforms that they're always going to shave a certain percentage of the trades, and they're going to make money. And there's going to be certain people squeezed out of the markets based on the algorithms, based on the bots. and then there's a margin call, and then you just go down this death spiral. And then if you get squeezed out and you have to sell, and then you see the stock go back up towards the end of the day, it totally destroys your mental health. So if you are going to day trade or do risky investments, get a year's worth of savings in a year's worth of expenses in a savings account, pay off your debt, then have your play money. That way, even if you totally go back to zero in your brokerage account, you still have your mental health, you still have a savings account, you still have no debt, and you have peace of mind to push forward. You didn't over allocate your risk assets. Tom, I went fishing yesterday, and there was a nice house on the lake for rent. I got excited, looked up on the internet, and I just can't do throwing away $1,400 a month. Well, Tom, let me ask you this. Will you ever consider buying a house? That's number one. Number two, if you do buy a piece of property, whether it's a house, a condo, or RV lot, which state would you pick? Would you pick California, Florida, etc.? So are you even considering buying a house? What state do you want to live? And yeah, I guess answer that, and then we'll see where we go from there. Tom, appreciate your mom. I lost mine when I was 39. Thank you, brother. Just out of nowhere. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I think about that, and that's what I think about, like, because I really want to go back to Florida, but I said, Sam, how many more Mother's Days are you going to have? Don't be so crazy. I was saying all this in my mind. But I'll never forget, I was working at a pizzeria, and it was, I was probably in my mid-20s. I got laid off from construction. I was looking for a side fill. I was working in a pizzeria, and this one girl there, she was like just graduating high school. She was like 18 or whatever. And her mom would drop her off every day at the pizzeria. And she was a pretty girl, and we would talk. And I remember I came into work one day, and she wasn't there. And I said, well, where's this girl? I asked, like, the boss. And he goes, oh, she called out for 2 weeks. You know her mom just died, right? I said, no. I said, really? And I go, no, I didn't know that. And he goes, yeah. He goes, the tough part is, Sam, she's 18. And like the last, like yesterday when her mom dropped her off, they had an argument. And they were like arguing probably about some petty stuff, from what I understand, in front of the pizzeria. Like, when you're 18, you argue with your mom, like, leave me alone, do this, that. And he goes, now that's going to be a heavy weight on her soul, because if the last time you have with your mom is when you're 18, you have an argument with her, that's very hard to process. My mom lost her mom when she was like 9 through cancer. So I've been blessed to still have my mom. I'll be 40 this year. I'm 39 now. And I think about that. I think there's a lot of people that, one, never had their mom this long. Two, they didn't have a good mom. Not everyone was blessed to have a good mother. I had a great mother. I'm very thankful. But she has her issues. Like, I thought about that today. Like, sometimes she really makes a mess. And she's out of balance. And like she had like threw a bunch of stuff on the ground to like feed the seagulls. And it was really messy. And like, because I had to clean it up because I couldn't leave it there. There's other people. But I had to restrain myself from getting upset. And because she has a heart to feed the birds, and I appreciate that about her. I really don't like people that like don't like animals. Like, there's some people like they don't feed the seagulls or birds. They get upset with you. Nah, I know you shouldn't, but to me, it's something wrong there. But as you get older in life, I think you kind of realize that if you're fortunate enough to be with people and they get older and you get older, don't stress over the little stuff. I remember I was watching some movie of like an old couple, and it was about a husband taking care of his elderly wife, and she was basically like her health was really declining in the movie. And the movie was about he was going to build a tiny home for her on the mountain, and they were going to spend their last years there. But she died before he got to build that house. But through the course of him trying to build it, they were sharing special moments, and they were reflecting on their life and raising their family. Because they were both in their late 80s, their kids grew up, and they were pretty much by themselves. Their kids never really came to see them. And one of the memories that they both reflected on while the wife was still alive, she goes, remember that wooden table in the kitchen? And the husband goes, yeah, I remember, but I don't have good memories about it, because there was this wooden table that the husband had made. Now, he made it when he was like 40. And he was Nathan 199 super chat. First super chat on members only. Well, first time only. Yes, non-members can do a one-time super chat to get one comment in there. So thank you, Nathan. Thank you for your support, brother. Thank you for watching. Anyone can watch any of these videos, but the members only a member can chat. And a one-time comment can be left if someone super chatted. So Nathan, thank you, brother, for all your love. Thank you to all my members, and hopefully you're having a good day, Nathan. Happy Mother's Day to your mother and to your family if they're still around, and God bless you, man, and thank you. But it was this very powerful part of the movie where the elderly man in his 80s was reflecting on when he was 40, and he was very particular with his house, and he hand built this wooden kitchen table. And his kids were young at that time. You know, they were like 8 years old or whatever. And he goes, what really frustrated me when I would work all day, I would come home from work, we would sit down on the kitchen table, and the kids would be doing their homework. And when they were writing on the paper, their pen or their pencil would go through the paper and would cause scratches in the wood. And it was frustrating, and he lost his temper at times. Because he goes, damn it, kids, don't you know you shouldn't be writing on this table? And then like the movie goes back to nowadays when the parents are elderly and they're in their 80s and they're looking at this same wooden table, and the wooden table has all these nicks. And the older man tells his wife, he goes, it's amazing all the years that I lost with our kids where I would just come home and be upset about the scratches in the table. He goes, now, here I am. I sit at 89 years old. I got this wooden table, and the best part of it are all the scratches, all the marks of my children's life. You know, but when you're 40 or whatever age, and you're particular about your house and your furniture, like that's what matters to you. You know, not the fact that just spending quality time with people. And like think about like when I first got my dog, she destroyed my rug. She destroyed like my bedpost. And I remember there was some times where I got upset, you know, but I don't have any of that shit anymore. You know, I don't have a bed anymore. I don't have a carpet. And none of that shit matters anymore. But at the time, you think it matters, you know. And that's a lesson, you know, on Mother's Day and every day, you know, that, you know, if you're spending time with a friend, a family member, whoever, and you care about them and there's an equal, healthy relationship, don't stress the little stuff. Remember that wooden kitchen table. Don't stress the scratches. Just look beyond it and try to enjoy the moment. Nathan, thank you again, brother. Let's continue to read. Tom says, I read that. I'm sorry. Jesse, where I went really wrong was taking huge risk by promising high returns to partners. Oh, okay. I never did that. So you took other people's money and you had like an investment firm. Everything went downhill from there, followed by a nasty divorce. Well, Jesse, I thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of courage to do that. I give you credit. Yeah, I never had that courage to even attempt that. So I give you credit for that. And then I also give you credit for sharing. So Jesse, when you trade now, do you just trade in your own personal brokerage, or do you still like have like a capital fund where you trade other people's money and try to give a return? That's interesting. Vanessa, sorry to hear that, Tom. Do you do anything in her memory for Mother's Day? Tom says, cry. I hear you, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to lose your mother, man. If you've been blessed enough to have a good mother, not everyone has. You know, a mother is probably like your closest thing to unconditional love. No mother is perfect. But you know, if you have a decent mom, you know, and if you feel loved, it's my mom that keeps me from being like a complete asshole. I mean, I think about her you know, she has given me empathy. You know, I was never really like I was always like very, I tried to always be respectful of people for the most part. But sometimes now in life, when I think of looking down on someone, I just think of my mom and like, example, like my mom, she's never going to be able to control her eating. So when I lost a lot of weight and when I got my life together, like you tend to look at some people who always struggle with it, like, why don't you just get your shit together? There's some people like in society that say, oh, fat people, like they deserve to die early because they overeat. And look, that may be true, but it's like, I understand how people struggle with certain things because of my mom, and because that she has compassion, it makes me look at society, politics, and everything different. Okay. Because I don't look at that at the end of your life, if you just were a good investor, if you just were about business and all this. I haven't met anyone that hasn't need to get bailed out. From Donald Trump to Tesla, Elon Musk, to whoever, Nancy Pelosi, everyone has need to get has had a need to be bailed out or to be helped by others. But sometimes when we do good for ourselves, and there are people that are self-starters that do good and they should be rewarded, but we tend to forget that if it wasn't for the compassion of others at times in our journey, we wouldn't be where we're at. And the real people are the people that do something for you and they never hold it over your head. They do it because they love you and they don't expect a lot from you. And they're rare, so you got to appreciate them. Vanessa? Yeah, I have to have the dreaded meeting at 7 a.m. Well, Vanessa, you're going to be okay. At least you have the meeting, because I think you would feel worse if you didn't have a job tomorrow. So, like, that's how I would psychologically trick yourself. Like, you say to yourself, like, oh, I got to go to work tomorrow. That sucks. But say to yourself, well, at least I got the job. I'm going to show up. Like you told me, you only deal with your boss 10% of the day. So don't ruin your day. If 90% of your day is not dealing with your boss, don't let the 10% destroy it. Good job. Vanessa, sorry, Tom. I agree. Tom says, thanks. Vanessa, I'm more interested in visiting state parks, hiking, nature videos, not focusing on car dwelling on my channel. Okay, well, that's interesting. Yeah, you'll get views then too. Obviously, just clearly mark the park. Park visits will probably get you the most, but either way, be yourself. Whatever your journey is for you. And just know that, your videos won't get a lot of views in the beginning, and that's okay. And look, you may not want to do YouTube after a while, or you may want to do it, but you can do it. Anyone can do it. But you treat it like everything else. You just show up, you try to get better, do some research online. You can certainly ask me questions. And I'll tell you right now, anyone here, especially the members, go to her channel and just hit the subscribe button. It's free. Show her some support. That's the least we can do. I'll do that after this live chat. Well, let me see if I can do it now, Vanessa. Hold on. I'll see if I could pull up your channel on my laptop, so that way I don't forget. And see if I could sub you up. Let me see here. They made it harder to find channels now, because you can't just click on the person in the chat and then go right to their channel. I don't know why they took away that feature. Does anyone know why they took away that feature? And I can't do it off my laptop. Okay, I'll do it after the live chat. Tom, I'll check out your channel. Thank you, Tom. Vanessa, I do a lot of Florida nature. I like that. Photography on my IG. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, IG, aka Instagram. That's another side hustle too. I don't know how you monetize your Instagram. I don't know if you need a certain amount of. Does anyone know? I don't know if you need a certain amount of followers or what it may be. I'm interested if anyone. I'm not into Instagram. Not my thing, but I know some people are able to make a hustle off it. Norma? Sam, today Pennsylvania made child marriage legal. Really? I was surprised to hear it's only illegal in New Jersey, Delaware, and now PA. So Norma, when you say child marriage, what is the age? You can marry a child under 18? So you're saying like a 25-year-old person can marry an 11-year-old girl in Pennsylvania? Really? Jesse? Italian moms are the best. From my experience, only laughing. No offense to anyone. No, I hear you. I've been blessed. I've seen a lot of good moms. I had a good friend of mine. He wasn't Italian, and he died, at a young age, and his mom was a blessing. And, it's a wild thing to see a mother lose her child young. But she had faith, and I know it's probably hard for her, but she goes forward. But on Mother's Day, don't just think of the people who lost their mother. Think of them. Think of Tom and our other people out there. Also think of the mothers who lost their sons or daughters, because there's some people out there and there's pain. And again, empathy is a big thing that I learned from my mother. I tried to explain it a little bit. Maybe I didn't do it justice, but it matters to me. And I try to look, I said, Sam, I got to be a little bit softer here. I got to refine myself a little bit. So I want to be passionate. I want to be myself, but there's times where, you have to learn, so I got to pull myself back a little bit to show empathy. And, sometimes I failed. There's no doubt about it. And so, but it's a goal that I said, I got to try to do better. And that's all you can do. Nathan, thank you again, brother, for the super chat and adding and comment. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I was a little nervous today doing my first members only chat. I started my membership last week, and it's scary. It's nervous, but it'll be a step forward. I believe in the channel long term. And like I say, every Sunday we'll do these member only chats. And then over time we'll just grow it, and we'll go from there. Nathan says another super chat. How are you doing today? I'm doing good overall. Like I say, it's Mother's Day, so I try to spend some quality time with my mom. I was missing Florida, but I keep on a routine. So what is my routine? I wake up about 6:30, 7, the absolute latest. On the weekends, it's about 7. I wake up at 7 a.m. I have a healthy breakfast. I go usually for a morning walk. Today, there was nothing really. I did a video. I drove around a little bit. I had a lunch, went for an afternoon walk. I picked up some dinner for my mother. That's what my Mother's Day gift was. I got her a New Jersey pizza and a cannoli. Dropped that off, and I went for a walk with her, and then I just spent some time, and I set up on her smartphone. She got her first ever smartphone. I set up a Jennifer Lopez free movie from YouTube. Jennifer Lopez has, I think it's called like The Second Chance or something. It's a free YouTube movie. So I put that there. She likes like Jennifer Lopez romantic comedies. So I put that on for her on her phone. She was like, she was having the time of her life. So I said, all right, Ma, I'll be back. So, how was your day, Nathan? Well, love to you, brother. And thank you for your tips, man. And thank you for sharing. Vanessa, I didn't talk to my aunt for 4 years because of disagreement. Held her hand while she was in a coma. Never came out, and still kicked myself. It's all right. But she opened her eyes when I talked the first time. Those type of memories haunt us, man. I have some of those memories where people I lost, and last memory of them is in the hospital or other means, and we have to learn to let go. I mean, what was that whole Frozen animated video from Disney was all about, like, letting it go, let it go, let it go. But it's true, like, for your mental health, you have to let go of failure, you have to let go of pain. It's a discipline a little bit, but the only way to go forward is to just accept, forgive, and thank God for grace. That's why I thank God for grace. I thank God for grace. You need grace. I believe in that. So, Vanessa, I know she knew I was there. No, she did. So I have that. No, I think she did. I mean, I visited someone one time. They were in a coma, and I held their hand, same thing, and they squeezed my hand. So obviously when they squeeze your hand, they know you're there. There's a presence, and it's an eerie thing. But it's part of the scars that are left kind of like on our soul as we go forward in life. Tom, I don't know. I tried to answer your question about at 52. It's tough to get a job and start a new life in Florida. That's true. I don't know if I have it in me anymore to take chances. That's an interesting comment. We're going to touch on that, Tom. Nathan, I'm good. This member only is a good idea. Nathan, thank you, brother. Thank you for your support very much, man. I appreciate you coming in and watching the members only chat and being part of it. So love to you, Nathan. Thank you for your support and for your positive words, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. So, Tom, that's an interesting comment. I want to talk on that for a minute. So Tom's 52 years old. Okay, I believe you grew up in Florida, but now he lives in California. He's a car mechanic. And I think he has a desire from my conversations with him to go back to Florida. But he's trying to figure out how to maintain an income, because I'm sure California pay scale is higher than Florida on average. And now with the coronavirus, like, jobs are not necessarily like as consistent or stable as the job market was pre-coronavirus. So at 52, the older you get, the less change and chances you want to take. I even feel that now. And that's why I'm trying to position my life. Like, if I do put down roots, it's my last time, hopefully, because I don't. I don't want to be changing. I would agree with you. I really wouldn't want to change in my 50s either. But at 52, he's trying to decide if he wants to start a new life and go back to Florida. He doesn't know if he has it in him. That's interesting too. I remember Mike Tyson saying that at the end of his career, he lost his last couple fights because he just didn't have the fight in him anymore. I remember one of the last Rocky movies, like Rocky said, I don't have anything left in me anymore. What my general advice to that would be, like, visit Florida without committing to Florida. So, like, I'm sure you get some vacation time. So I think that's your plan. Like next fall, after the summer, because obviously I don't think you want to go to Florida in the summer. In November, right? Go to Florida and see if it is what you remember it to be. See what areas you want to live, because Orlando is very different than Miami. And I think you said when you were looking at car mechanic jobs, like Miami had a lot more, because obviously Miami is a major hub. But Miami versus Naples versus Jacksonville versus Orlando, they're very different environments, very different cultures. So you're really going to have to see if you can maybe take a 2-week vacation. Obviously, the only really 1,000 trails there are in the middle of the state. They don't really have any by the coast. But if you, I don't know, do you have the trails collection? There's a couple in Southeast Florida if you have the trails collection. And then he goes, I notice after 40, it's tough to get a mechanic's job. At 52, 52 and 100 mechanic years, tough job. Yeah, no doubt. I remember people in construction told me that, like, Sam, you got to really ask yourself how long you want to do construction because it's a young man's game. So there were some guys like in the construction field, like they were in their 60s, but their body took a toll. And I knew I didn't want to do construction until my 60s. So, but the only way to get out of your predicament is to plan, prepare, and take small incremental steps. So visit Florida again for the first time or whatever it may be. Because as a car mechanic, maybe, would you ever consider like working at like Valvoline Express and just changing oil? Especially if you're going to stay at like 1,000 trails or whatever, that doesn't, if you're going to stay in your cargo trailer and you're going to live in 1,000 trails park and just go park to park, you don't need to make much. I know they have a lot of those there. But that's an interesting comment, man. Norma. Vanessa, I will follow your channel. Most of what I watch is hiking and backpacking related. Okay. Vanessa, thanks, Norma. I'll follow you back. Nathan, thank you again, brother. I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate your comments, man. Love to you, Nathan. Norma. No, today they ban child marriages, making them illegal. Oh, okay. For both parties under 18. Prior to that, they said around 3,000 children per year were married in PA. Wow, I didn't know that. Many as young as 12. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, imagine getting married for the first time at the age of 12. That's a disaster. Steve, Triple Z, members only salute. Oh, brother, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming in, man. Love to you, Steve. Thank you for that show support. And yeah, it's a little bit scary today doing this first members only. It'll get better over time. It's scary. So I appreciate those who are members, and I appreciate those who are just watching. And Steve and Nathan, I appreciate the super chats. It means something to me, and I'm thankful for those who have joined and those who are just enjoying the watch. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Love to you. Jessio, right now it's just my funds only. Okay, that's smart. At least there's less pressure. So when you're trading stocks or investing with just your own money, it makes at least the mental pressure less. And then he goes, I stopped trading for 2 years to get my sanity back. I agree with that. Nomad life really helped. I agree with that. Very similar journey. Yep. Downsizing and mitigating your liabilities allows you to take more risk, because everything in life is balancing out. The more risk you take, the less liability you should have. Because if you have high liability and high risk, you're going to go crazy. So minimalism allows you to take more chances. Like if Tom does decide to try to like relocate to Florida, if he's still just living in his cargo trailer, he doesn't have high risk in one sense of speaking. Because Tom, if it doesn't work out, you just go back to California and you'll find another job, or somewhere in the country as a mechanic, I'm sure. So keeping your health, keeping your physical and mental health, I always stress it on this channel, that's your number one goal. Because if you have your physical and mental health and emotional, I'm going to add emotional health. If you have all three, you can figure it out if you're living below your means. If you're living below your means and you're taking care of yourself and you take risk, but you fail, you can recover quicker and you'll be all right. And that gives you the confidence to go ahead and give it a shot. Nathan, thank you again, brother. I appreciate you supporting the members only chat. This is the first one ever in history. So just like I started my channel 3 years ago, maybe 3 years from now, we'll see where the members only chat may be. But I'm very grateful for tonight. I just want to take life one day at a time. And I worked very hard to simplify my life so I can do more things that I'm excited and creative, passionate about, such as this, and just see how it goes. And just take it one day at a time, man. Thank you, Vanessa. I think people get paid to sponsor products on IG. Okay. And when they reach a certain follower count, see, that's the thing. I'm interested to know what the follower count is on Instagram. Like on YouTube, they tell you need 1,000 subscribers to get monetized. I'm curious what that number is for IG. That's what I've seen. Suddenly they're into South Beach diet. I'm like, hey, if you got a bikini on and everything like that, and some things are just ambiance, like the background. Like even Bob Wells, like he does some videos, he goes, I got these mountains behind me just because it's ambiance. So, look, part of it is too, obviously you play to your gift. So if you're a beautiful person, you play to your looks because that draws attention. Okay. If you're a smart person, you play to your, information that you can give people. Whatever your gift is, you play. If you're a mechanic, like if you were a mechanic, I would just do how-to videos. How do you change oil? How do you change a tire? How do you change a valve and whatever? So play to your strengths. There may be some things in life you're below average, but there's some things in life you're above average. So look and evaluate your life, see what you're above average at, and try to do things more centered around that because that'll be your best life and your destiny. Norma says, Vanessa, I have no content. Sorry. That's okay. We all start somewhere. And if you're not interested in sharing your life, it's better to be private. Why share if you don't need to? Let's take a hydration break, guys. Thank you for watching, man. I appreciate my members. Thank you, each and every one of my members. I appreciate that. Anyone interested, you click that blue join button. Every Sunday, we're going to do members only chat. And thank you, Nathan, and thank you, Steve, for the super chat. So let's take a hydration break, guys. Yeah, this was a great comment by Tom. He goes, I noticed after 40, it's tough to get a mechanic job. 52 in 100 mechanic years. It takes a wear on your body, no doubt. Damn it, Nathan, man. 199 super chat. It takes courage to do members only, less views. No, it does. That's an excellent observation, Nathan, because I thought about that. You're not allowed to have a members YouTube channel until you reach a certain criteria. Like you have to reach a certain amount of minutes watched in the course of your channel. I just reached that like in March. So I thought about it for a couple months about if I was going to do it because I know it'll bring down some views. But I looked at it as it's a long-term play. It's not a short-term play, and I believe it's going to add more value than Patreon. Tomorrow, I'm going to be canceling my Patreon page. I have about 4 there. And because I think there's more value in the memberships than doing Patreon for the people that watch me and support me, and they get something out of it. And it's kind of like it's more reciprocal than a Patreon, at least in my opinion. And so for me, I just think it's one aspect that I'm adding to the channel that over time it'll be better. But in the short term, it's gonna be some short-term loss. So, when you're doing a side hustle, a business, or anything in life, sometimes you lose something, but you're going to gain something long-term. So you got to kind of calculate it out. And look, if it doesn't work out, there's no guarantee like memberships will work out. It may bomb my channel. But you'll see it. I'll let you guys see it. I've simplified my life so I can afford to fail. And you're never going to really go after what you want until you're willing to fail. Because you have to try something new. Like I tried Patreon, I tried different things. But I say, this isn't good. There's a better way. Okay. So, life is all about adjusting. You guys will go on maybe in 10 years, you guys will be in a totally different place, right? Or 2 minutes from now. Whatever you do in the future in your life, you have to give yourself permission to try something and stay with it for a while. And then if it doesn't work, you change. Life is about constant adjustment. I mean, we learned this kind of with the coronavirus that, you may have had a restaurant. This is just an example, not aimed at anyone, but you may have had a restaurant for 10 years. That restaurant was making good money. You thought you were going to leave it to your kids. But now with the coronavirus, things changed. You may have had a car repair shop, but whatever you have, we live a minimalistic life, or at least I do. And I always remember to live below my means so that I have the ability to change quicker. Flexibility is your number one asset as a minimalist. And you utilize that through going after other things in your life, taking a risk. And if you fail, you can adjust back or adjust to something else very quickly. So that's kind of how I calculated, man. Thank you for the observation. Sabrina's here, another one of our first members. The information and advice you provide is priceless. Thank you for the compliment. And very much worth paying a member-only fee. I appreciate you either. Well, and that's why I told Sabrina. She joined Patreon, and I told her, I said, look, I'm going to be starting a membership on my channel. You'll probably get more value out of that, and I'm going to be canceling Patreon. So, look, everything is non-commitment. Just like Patreon, just like the YouTube membership, you can cancel at any time. I don't want anyone to feel pressured or obligated. But I want to be honest with myself, and I want to be honest in what you need to do as you try a venture. A venture is doing something risky. Okay, you have to be willing to adjust it. You have to be willing to add different components of it and see if it works. It's going to suck in the beginning. I know the first time you do stuff, it sucks. And so I'm just at a point in my life where, all right, it's going to suck. I got to figure it out. You got to upload a video. How do you do that? You got to make a thumbnail. How do you do that? Even like getting the membership thing to like work on my page, that took a little bit for me to figure out. My mom, a 73-year-old woman with a smartphone for the first time, it's taking her a while to figure it out. But here she is a week later with her first smartphone, and she's watching YouTube. She's watching Jennifer Lopez, a Second Chance movie or whatever. So a week can change a lot. My mom's life changed in 1 week. Why? Because she did something for the first time. She bought a smartphone, or I got her a smartphone, whatever. And what I could tell you is it changed her life for the better, but there's been some pain. And she doesn't know everything, but another 7 days from now, she's going to know more. Okay, so do it, start for the first time, and then just keep going, and you get better and better. Let's continue. Steve, thank you again, brother. Members only salute. Love to you, man. Thank you, Norma. Tom, if your expenses are low, I saw a great nomad job for people with car sense. It's using your own car to do roadside assistance. Well, that's an interesting comment, Norma. That's a good suggestion. If he's interested, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. I was even looking, like, if you had an RV, you could stay at a state park in Florida. I mean, I know they got closed, but I think they're going to reopen. And you could live there for free if you're like a camp host or whatever. So there's different hustles that you could definitely do. Norma says, tools, I don't know the name, but you could probably Google it. Norma, I think the members chat is a cool idea. I hope it's lucrative. You deserve it. Well, it'll build over time. That's my hope. And I'll try it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I got to give it some time, and we'll see from there. But either way, like I say, all my videos will still be free. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm very grateful for all the people who are watching and are members, Tom. And thank you for the super chat, Josh. Tom, yeah, I'm kind of down today. Keep going. You're doing a great job. Thank you. Have a good night. I'll finish watching later. Well, Tom, thank you for coming in, brother. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all that you do. Love to your mother. Rest in peace to your mother. Peace be with you, brother. Shout out to all the people who lost their mother. It is Mother's Day as I make this video. So love to you and best of luck, Tom, in whatever you decide in your future, brother. See you on the next one. Jesse, I never took mental health seriously until I started listening to your core messages. Well, Jesse, thank you, because that is important to me. That's one of my main messages on this channel. Self-care, going for a walk, eating relatively healthy, and healthy relationships. That's all part of your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, and that ties also into your physical. Good job, Nathan. It takes courage to do members only, less views. It does. And I thank you for that, Nathan. Thank you for the support and encouragement. Vanessa? Sam, I know Sam's going to buy a whole strip club now and be an ex-stripper. Well, hey, guys, and when you can get out of the stripping game, get out. Don't wait too long. I was talking to my mom today about that. We were looking at some like hotel that was like didn't have any business because of coronavirus. And we knew the people that, well, in passing, we met the people who owned the hotel, and they were older people. And we say, Ma, like, the person who had this hotel, they should have sold years ago when the market was high. And now things are a little bit, in question. There's times in life where you have to cash out. Now, can things still go up? Yeah, I'm glad I sold my house 3 years ago. I would be a mental wreck if I still have my house in North Jersey in the middle of the coronavirus. And here's the key thing. I would have lost 3 years of my life in not being in Florida. Like, one thing today, I was a little upset I wasn't in Florida, but I said, Sam, well, thank God for the past 3 years you've been living your dream. Because something happens in life, a health scare, a pandemic, something happens in life and you realize you can't get that time back. Like, if you keep your house for another 3 years because you think it may go up 10% more, but you lose 3 years of your life, that matters. Seize the moments in your life. If you can get out of something and go closer to your dream, go after it. Because, guys, your dream doesn't come to you. You got to go to it. Your dream don't come to you. You got to go to it. And you got to take small steps and once in a while a big step. And you live a minimalistic life. So if you fail, you're able to recover quicker and pivot and reposition. All right, let's continue. We're filling out. In Atlanta, there's a strip club called the Claremont Lounge. It's basically where strippers go to retire. Well, that sounds like where I would go. Quite an experience. Yeah, a senior citizen strip club. I'm not mad at that. Sabrina, thank you again, Sabrina, for the kindness. The information and advice you provide is priceless. Very much worth paying membership fee. Thank you. I appreciate you and the other members. Sabrina, thank you for your positivity. Thank you for your love. Keep pushing forward. Let go of insecurities. If someone doesn't like you for who you are, there's billions of people in the world, guys. So I struggled with that parts of my life, like getting away from certain friends or associates, and not necessarily because they were bad, but just because it was time for me to change. And you tend to stay in relationships, whether they're friends or lovers, because you're comfortable with each other. Like, I've had a couple of girls tell me, like, yeah, well, I'm going to stay with them because I already know them. They know me. I don't have to go through that whole process again. That's a lame-ass, unhealthy excuse to stay with a bunch of friends or in a relationship with someone just because you're familiar with them. Always be willing to walk away from something that has ended or expired. Why? Because it's only fair to you and to the other person. It's a very hard challenge, but that's a very much needed one. Norma? Sabrina, I agreed 100. Sabrina, hey, Norma. I like the way you put it, Sam. I can afford to fail. Amen. That's a great perspective. It goes to a good foundation. Amen. I fully believe that, look, people can disagree with me on certain things, but the core message is a wholesome message, which is self-care, taking care of yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Okay. And living below your means. Okay. How extreme you want to get with that, that's up to you. I recognize that I am at the extreme end. I live in a car out of one bag. I may not always. We may be watching this channel a couple months or a couple years from now, and I may have an RV lot in Florida. But you will see that I took my time and I didn't rush into anything, or I may not ever do it. But whatever I do, there's going to be a calculation that it has to be below my means because I've lived paycheck to paycheck and in heavy debt. And it's a suffocating feeling. And you don't have much room for error, much room for failure. But when you live a minimalistic life, you are free. You're a free spirit. You're a bird. And it allows you to soar. Okay? And I like that. Let's continue. No, I've looked at camp host jobs before. Yeah, I've looked at them too. Now, I don't have an RV. So I never really got serious, and they weren't worth it, in my opinion, because most camp host jobs, even though you get a place to live for a couple months and a campground with all utilities paid, most of them don't offer money. They just offer you a campsite for free. So usually got to work about 20 or 30 hours at the campsite, throwing away garbage, cleaning up. And then you'd have to go and do DoorDash or something like that. Now, for me, that wouldn't apply to my life at this point, but I always like to know what's out there. So it's an option for some people, but you have to have another source of income because you still need monthly expenses to cover your car insurance, your health insurance, your food, and just a free campsite would not be enough. So that's something you have to consider. Now, it may work for some people. But again, when you live simple, you have a lot of options, and you can tailor it to what you want to do. Norma. But no RV. Yeah, me too. Even though, again, I saw some lady in her minivan being a camp host last year in a state park in Florida. Believe it or not, she ran an extension cord into her minivan at night, and she had a TV in her minivan. She had a heater. It was in the middle of the winter. It wasn't that cold, but in Florida, it gets a little cool at night sometimes in the winter. Sabrina, I was thinking about getting an RV / vehicle through the corporate sponsorship to get paid to travel the country to fish, hunt, and camp. However, I get my health in order for to do it. Well, amen. Self-care is the first priority of all of our lives. I was obese, and there's been times where I've been really in a bad place emotionally. So, yeah, focus on self-care. And some of those sponsorships are hard to find because, believe it or not, I've seen some YouTubers and they got hundreds of thousands of followers, and RV dealers won't give them a free RV just to be like an ambassador. You really gotta have a family-friendly channel, and you really gotta have a big subscriber base and a lot of views. But it's worth asking. Always ask for what you want, and always focus on self-care, and you'll figure it out. Vanessa, shout out to you. Vanessa, mothers who have lost children too, amen. That has to be tough on Mother's Day. I think probably one of the most devastating things in this world is to lose your child, especially at a young age. I've had some friends that went before their time, and I saw the pain in their mother's eyes. But their mothers had faith. They pushed past it, but I'm sure it's with them the rest of their life. When you lose someone you love, obviously, especially your child, it's a painful thing. And that's why I do believe, I don't push religion on anyone anymore, but I do believe try to seek some level of faith. Because there's some comfort in just the grace of God. You're still going to get depressed. You're still going to get angry at God. You're still not going to understand everything in this world. But faith will give you the confidence, not only for doing things the first time in your life, but for closing chapters in your life and having faith to go to the next step. Martin Luther King said, faith is taking the first step without seeing the entire staircase. And that's how we're going to end this first ever members only chat. I did it in faith. It may have not been perfect, but I appreciate everyone who was a member and watched. I appreciate Nathan and Steve for the super chats. Hopefully my words and some of the ramblings, they helped you in some way. Love to you again, Vanessa. Tomorrow I'll be praying for you. Go back to your job. Love to you, Norma. Tom, thank you for joining. Sabrina, love to you. Jesse, my first ever member, thank you to you. Thank you to everyone, even who watched in the background. I very much appreciate it. Have a peaceful night, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Jeff, also want to say, Jeff, welcome again. Thank you for joining the channel, brother. Look forward to connecting with you. Thank you for that, man. I know you didn't say anything, Jeff, but I appreciate your support and appreciate you being here with me. God bless you guys. Happy Mother's Day out there. Love to you, Jesse. Love to everyone, man. God bless. Thank you.